for this application, should it pass, that I said when the gyms came. The gyms all needed to be on equal footing. You couldn't limit one area, one street, whether it was in the mall or somewhere else. They all had to be on equal competitive footing. So it just is what it is.
I understand.
The market is going to determine the hours, and you're just going to make sure that any parking lot lighting will be done with staff so that there's no bleed and the lights are going to go in the street.
100%. The nice thing about this is you're looking at an already built out existing site. The shrubbery has been there for 15 years. There's adequate buffering. It's on Madison Avenue. The entrance is on Madison Avenue. I mean, the entrance is on Walnut, but the exit's on Madison Avenue. We don't see any impact at all on the neighborhood. In fact, much less of an impact than if there were a bank there.
Thank you. All right, staff, presentation, anything?
No, this is the reverse. Attorney Rizzio said everything, so.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Mr. D'Aquila. You're on mute. I was going to let you go for a while. It was enjoyable.
Yes,
but, you know.
yes, I know. The parking spaces on the east side of this pharmacy seems to be infringing upon the property, appears to be, of the two houses on the east side of the pharmacy. Is that right?
Those are bushes that have been there for 30 years. The driveway's been there for as long, since 1966. Currently, that would not be considered, since it's beyond the 3-year statutory period for an encroachment that in effect is now nothing that would be considered a violation.
Could I have an opinion from Attorney Cardone on that, please?
I don't have the map in front of me. Just explain it though. The encroachment is what?
Some of the parking spaces, Jim, are built over the property line, and some of the shrubberies over the property line, and it's been there for about 45 years. And the survey that they have shows this encroachment.
Parking spaces are literally onto the property line in the rear.
Correct.
Okay, so I don't know. I don't think they would lose the use of. I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm answering the question as it's being presented to me. I don't think that the use of those parking spots would be taken away. It would be a property line question with the neighbor, and that's not really before the commission tonight. So they've been in existence for quite a while, Mr. D'Aquila.
But we are allowed to judge them as applicable parking spaces for this business as they have been in use for 45 years.
I can't see the map, but it sounds like it's not like the entire parking spot is on somebody else's property, correct?
There's also a fence dividing the residential and the property in question. So I believe the residents have already given their own delineation of their property lines.
Yeah.
God only knows how long those fences have been there for.
And one thing that's important, we're not changing anything with regard to the site. The only change is happening within the confines of the use inside the building.
Right.
And those parking spaces were already approved back in the 60s or wherever, so.
Yeah, they have approval from Trumbull, correct? All right, any other questions, Mr. D'Aquila?
Nope.
Okay. Mr. Silber?
What sort of queue do we expect of cars coming from Walnut? Is that a
First of
concern?
all, no, not at all. I think you have the ability to queue, especially given the length, the size of the parking lot. You have the ability to queue probably 5 to 6 cars, and it's actually believe it or not, a double drive-through.
Yeah.
This was built for a bank, not a pharmacy. If you go through most pharmacies, the drive-throughs, I very rarely have a queue. You can't order. It's not like a fast food that you can order. You can fill out your prescription online or anything. It's typically just a pickup. That's
You
all.
can get 14 cars there, Tony. I'm looking at it right there.
All right, and so it's a double, 14
Yeah,
cars, that's fine.
7
then.
and
All right,
7. Yeah, yeah, it's good.
Fine.
Mr. Prush,
I don't have any questions.
Mr. Corey.
No questions.
Okay, gonna go to the public, Mr. Chin. Is there anybody from the public at this time who would like to speak for or against this
Yes,
application?
there's somebody on the phone. If you're calling on the phone and your telephone ends in 261, you may speak.
Hello?
Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Jesse F. Bennett, 16 Hitching Post Lane. I'm the
Okay.
street, kind of right across the street. I'm 3 houses in.
Okay,
I know the neighbors wanted me to speak because to be honest, we really did like the bank and we liked Sylvan Learning before that. The reason is the bank they left early. Most days they were gone at 4. They were only there half a day Saturday, nothing Sunday. And the Sylvan Learning was even less than that. We are concerned about a 9 to 9. And is the plan 7 days a week for the pharmacy?
well, one of the things that I said before, I don't know if you heard while you were on the phone, we have great trouble being able to restrict business performance hours. The only thing is if you are a Trumbull resident like the rest of us, Trumbull goes to sleep at 9 o'clock. You have to go to another town to buy coffee. So I don't think that these will be open very late, but I can't attest to that. I mean, Attorney Rizzio, you can offer what you will, but this is an independently owned pharmacy, correct?
An independently owned pharmacy, our hours at our other locations are basically not Monday to Friday, 9 to 7, Saturday, 9 to 12. And they do not open at Sunday on another,
Right.
the other locations. It's only an 1,800 square foot pharmacy. I don't know that it certainly would not make financial sense for them to staff it for a 24-hour period. Although I would not want to commit to any timing, I can tell you
Right.
those are the hours currently published for the Oxford pharmacy, and these are the same people. But I can't,
Right.
that's what's intended.
I'll just repeat for you. I don't know if you heard, we can't restrict. It wouldn't be fair to any one business if there were multiple pharmacies within a mile, 2 or 3 that all had different hours and they weren't allowed to be open. So it's the business climate is going to set the hours.
Tell me this, people wanted to know, other than just the regular medical things you'll sell, will you sell like milk, cigarettes? And they were concerned, would you sell CBD products?
That's not part of this application right now.
I can tell you, we have a beauty and skin care, because they go hand in hand with the pharmacy. Same thing with, some nail stuff. The balance will be mostly over-the-counter products. It's a very small store. It's 1,800 square feet. The typical pharmacy that and I've done a lot of work for Walgreens and CVS, are typically 7 to 14,000 square feet. And that's why and we're going to have the same size pharmacy department as you would see in a Walgreens, behind the counter pharmacy area, as you would see in a Walgreens and a CVS, which are really, they're pharmacies, but as much they are, small grocery stores.
Right, so you don't anticipate
No.
this becoming like that?
We don't have the room for it.
Okay.
We're
Now,
restricted by our size.
Okay. My girlfriend who lives right across the street, she's right at the corner of Hitching Post and Madison. When the bank first came in, they put these floodlights. It was hideous. It was shining all night long. Even after the people left, they left the lights on, I guess, for security. So she had to contact them, and people did tone it down a bit. We don't want lights like that left on
No,
after they leave.
They have a lighting plan that they have to submit. There's light pollution controls that are in place now.
We'll agree to submit a light, that the lighting will have it shut off so that no lights shine off the property.
This property is in a residential zone and our regulations do discuss light pollution and light trespassing. So that would be
Yeah.
a violation if they were going beyond that.
Will not be a
See,
problem.
right now, People's, they don't have a big sign in the front. They have a lower sign, like grass level, as I call it. It might have a low light to it, but that's all they have. So you're planning to do nothing, you're planning to copy what they have?
We only have the ability, without another hearing, to use the existing signage on the property, since we are in a residential A zone. Any other signage
Okay.
that we would need would have to come back before the commission.
Okay. So the owners have the other one, Oxford Pharmacy. What would this one be called? Trumbull Pharmacy?
I'm not
You
sure
don't
of the
know.
name, but I would assume it won't be Oxford Pharmacy. No.
Right, right.
Yeah,
The only other thing,
are there any more comments for or against the application at this time?
nothing right now, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay,
Okay.
Mr. Chin, are there any other callers?
Yes, Mr. Marcus.
Well, Attorney Rizio, I'm not against you this time.
No
Marshall
problem.
Name and address for the
I'm
record,
doing
please.
that. 91 Stonehouse Road, Trumbull. Again, I'm also a member of the Economic and Community Development Commission. We have a white elephant that's being replaced. It's great for the town. We have had 7 banks close in the last 5 years in Trumbull. Next to go will be People's Inside Stop and Shop. They're closing them statewide. Retail banking is closing all over. People have gone online, mobile apps. The COVID pandemic have made people learn not to use cash. Everything is card today.
You're in favor of the application, Mr. Marcus.
Absolutely. We
Thank
need
you.
this.
Have
Thank
a
you, Mr.
nice night.
Marcus.
Is there anybody else, Mr. Chin?
Yes, Cherie James.
Hi, good evening. My name is Cherie James. I live directly across the street from the bank, 4173 Madison Avenue. I am not in favor of the bank. A lot of us who live in this neighborhood have small children. Our children play outside. Right now, it's just a heavy traffic area where sometimes people even make U-turns in our driveway. We have a horseshoe driveway. So they come in a little and make U-turns, even especially during like Christmas time, like the traffic going into the mall back and forth. It's a madhouse.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else?
I just wanted to touch with the our neighbor who mentioned about the lights, that they are very bright. Right now they are on, and that they did have floodlights, and that, you know, we just didn't anticipate having a pharmacy there.
Okay,
We're not for it.
thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Chin, is there anybody else?
That appears to be all.
Great. Okay. If there's anybody else, does the applicant want to say any last words?
Very quickly, I just want to reemphasize, especially with given some of the comments from the last person spoken, there will be no expansion of the use. We believe that there will actually be a reduction in traffic from the historic use of the property, and that we think it's an appropriate use for the neighborhood. And I don't think there'll be any negative impact on values or the public health and safety issues concerning this application. There's adequate queuing for the drive-through. There's more than adequate parking for the use. As you see, for the bank, they required they wanted 24 spaces plus the drive-through. So you ended up with almost 40, be able to put 40 cars there. We're never going to have any that type of intensity of use with regard to a pharmacy. And there certainly won't be the in and out traffic that you have, because typically the people that come to a pharmacy stay for longer than the in and outs of a ATM or a cash machine. So for all those reasons, we think it's the appropriate use for the site. We think it's a reasonable substitution, one non-conforming use for another. However, in this instance, the non-conforming use is a lot less intense, and we think more in keeping with what goes on in the neighborhood. I think the last pharmacy we can remember was Salerno's over on Pine Street, and if anybody grew up in Trumbull, on Salerno, Madison Avenue and Pine Street, probably 40 years ago. So with all due respect, we respectfully request this commission grant this application. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, motion to close the hearing. Mr. Curry, second. Mr. Prush, thank you. All those in favor, closing the hearing, aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, closed. All right, at this time, I'll take a motion to approve the application. Mr. Curry, second. Mr. Prush, any further discussion? Other than I want to make sure that the applicant and town planner conform the signage that's exactly the same and the light pollution plan in place with the proper guards and stuff so it doesn't bleed on the street. All right. Mr. Silber, you had your hand raised for comment?
It was just that to mitigate the light pollution and whatever else we can do to,
Yep.
alleviate the neighbors' concerns.
Yeah, I think it's be a small pharmacy with small traffic. All right, no other questions? All right, all those in favor? Say aye. 1, 2, 3, Mr. Tequila. 4, who was the other one? Where are you? Corey, 5. 5 passes. All right, let's see, what do we have here? Acceptance of the minutes from January 20. Is there a motion to accept the minutes? So moved by Mr. Silber. Is there a second? Mr. D'Aquila, any comments or questions or changes to the minutes from January 20? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mr. So 5. They pass. Okay, next month's meeting is a week later than usual. Well, 4th week of March. So, all right, thank you very much. Motion to close the meeting.
Night, everybody.
Thank you.
Motion to close, anybody? Mr. Prush, Mr. Silver, everybody votes aye. Motion's closed. Thank you.